Hello, everyone. Good morning. This day. Uh, my name is George. A program assistant on the GAS program for 2022. In the cloud track. Uh, Today we'll be looking at the Quick Labs lab. You can find this lab in the module Reliable Google Cloud Infrastructure Design and Process. Okay, so in this lab, which is titled Building a DevOps Pipeline. Let me kill my notification. Keep forgetting to do that. All right. All right. So we'll be building a DevOps pipeline. This will give us an opportunity to use the tools that are available on GCP. DevOps tools that are available on GCP. Okay, so I'll be walking us through and I'll be taking my time to explain some concepts. So wherever you are stuck, please kindly leave your likes, subscribe to the channels, and also leave your comments. I'll definitely do my best to respond to those every comment that is made under this video. Okay, so first, you right click on the open button and select private window or incognito window, depending on what browser you are actually using. Okay, mine is called private, yours might be incognito. Okay, so I've already opened that, and this is, let me close this once. This is where we are. You, of course, will be presented with a sign-in page. Please sign in with the email you used to register for the program. That's the only email that you need to use, and a password, of course. Password and email for your Pluralsight account that is associated with the program. If you do that, you will not be charged for the lab. If you don't, then you will be charged for the lab. Okay. Okay, so here we'll be setting up several things, creating a repository, creating a simple Python application, define a Docker build, manage Docker images with Cloud Build and Cloud Registry, automate builds with triggers, and test your build changes. Okay, Docker is a tool used to package applications into images, and then those images are used to run containers. Images are instructions on how containers should be built, and then you use that to package your application. They are similar to virtual machines, but far lighter and far more portable than virtual machines. Okay, so let's quickly start our lab. Okay, so basically the steps would be you push to cloud source repository. A trigger is set off because of that push, and you build using your Docker file in that repository, and then you push that image to the container registry. Okay, so cloud source repository is similar to GitHub. Okay, so the major difference here is that you can use IAM roles to control access to the source cloud source repository, whereas GitHub restrictions are not as fine-grained as they are on GCP. So that's an advantage of using the inbuilt source repository on GitHub on cloud GCP platform. Okay, so let's create. First of all, let's start the lab. The lab is for 2 hours. Okay, so I always advise us to read through the labs before starting. Okay, sometimes the lab will definitely behave abnormally. Okay, so I've had cases where trying to use the editor didn't work. I had to use the command line to complete my lab. Okay, so if we run into such a situation here, then I would simply switch to the terminal, still on that's the Cloud Shell, and use that to complete what we are supposed to do. Provided the shell gives us access to the same resources that we're working with. If it doesn't, then we will need to stop the lab and, of course, chat with the support on using the support button here. You can find it here. Okay, so get support. live support. You chat with them and they can help you out to resolve any issues. Okay, so let's accept this. The email updates are not required because this email doesn't belong to you. So let me open up my Cloud Shell because I think we'll be using that. Okay, so if you read through the lab instructions before starting, you will see things that you could start off, like say this Cloud Shell. While that is getting ready, you are doing other things. That way, you'll be able to finish within the located time. Okay, so we're supposed to add a repository. The name of the repository is DevOps repo. So let's copy this. Um, go to the navigation menu, which is here. Let's go down. I need to get rid of, um, let me type this here. Three. Okay. No, Actify Cloud Build repository. Uh, Cloud repository, source repository. That's it. That's what we want. Okay, so we're ready here. Let's leave. Okay, so let me. Okay, that's another thing. Okay, so it takes us away from Cloud Console. Okay, so we start by adding a repository. Create a repository, select this one. You could also connect an external repository, say your GitHub or Bitbucket repository, and then use this to control, uh, manage that repository. So let's pick up the name, the ID of our project. If you didn't have any project created, of course, you could just click here to create a project. So each repository is associated with a project. That's basically what they're trying to tell you. Each resource on GCP has to be associated with a project. You can't use um, a GCP resource in isolation. Okay, so basically, for those of us who have used GitHub before, you know that when you set up a repository on GitHub, you have to go through the process of initializing your local repository and then pushing that to GitHub and then having GitHub, display your files and your folders. So in this case, we don't have any content, and then the instructions here show you. Let me shut this down. Let me shut this down. Okay, I'm having issues there. Um, Let me go to my task manager. That's the best thing that can happen. Bring up my task manager. Just give it a sec. Okay, task manager came up, but okay, so let me kill this and this task. It's one of the things I like a Windows Task Manager. It just kills it. On Linux, it might not kill it. You have to go in and forcefully kill it. All right, so we've created that. Our Cloud Shell is up and running. The first thing they ask us to do is to create a repository. I'm going to pull out this tab and then put it side by side with this one, making it easy for you to see what I'm doing. But unfortunately, we don't have open in Cloud Console. Open in Cloud Console. Let's see what happens there. All right, so we bring back our Cloud Console. Let me go to our dashboard. You noticed when you try to create a repository, takes away, um, it takes you completely away from it takes you away completely from the Cloud Console, and you need to return to the Cloud Console to be able to do other things. So I'm going to expand. I'm going to take this Cloud Shell, clicking this button here, I'm going to take it to a separate window. And when you do that, it disconnects you from here. So let me close this one. The reason I'm doing that is because I want us to be able to have, okay, so that's it. I want us to be able to have, I want us to be able to have uh, enough real estate to be able to work. Now, if you look here, you see that it is different from what we had previously. What we had previously, we had the ID of the project between parentheses. In this case, it's no more the case here. That tells you that your project settings hasn't, your project configuration has been set to the current project. And so if you run any command from here, it would not be run against that project. So let's see config lists. Okay, let's see what's there. All right, so let's authorize the shell. Okay, so see, because we haven't picked a project. Okay, so it complains about that. Okay, so let me open terminal. Let me do that. Okay, so when you don't see that in your shell, that means you haven't set that. I was trying to show us that, but unfortunately, because that wasn't set, it refused to do that. So let me just go back there and repeat. Let me cancel this. Let's see. Open this. The shell should launch. Why is it not launching? It's my problem now. Okay, so let me close this. Okay, let's leave this. Let's open the shell once more. Okay, so the shell can be run here, or you can do that in a separate window. Okay, so let me open this in a separate window because I want it to be on a separate window so that we can do what we need to do. Okay, all right, so let's give it a few seconds to set up. Okay, so you see it's different. You see now we've selected a project. Okay, and so this has been highlighted. Let me make this a bit bigger. Okay, see, if you don't see this part in your terminal, then you know you haven't set up your project properly. So if I do gcloud config lists, all right, it will list out. Okay, so if you go down to where you have projects, that's where it is. Okay, all right, so that's our configuration. Let's set this to one side and then let's run through. So first thing we are supposed to do, let me clear the terminal. Okay, so first thing we're supposed to do is first thing we're supposed to do is um create a new directory. So make mkdir. Directory is called uh gcp hyphen course. Okay, and then change into that directory, and then we're in the directory. um Let me do something. Let me change the setting on my command prompt so that it goes to the next page. It goes to the next line, making it easy for us. Let me make this bigger. Okay, you don't have to do this, but I usually do this. Makes it easy for me to work. If I could find that file, I hope I missed it because that's the bottom. I think I saw the file up there. All right. The other issue is network. Okay, network has to be sharp if you want to get the best experience. Okay, so this is the line that determines that. So I'm going to put a new line. Okay, and then put this arrow here. All right, so let me close this and then of course source that file to be sure the changes I made. Sourcing simply means reload the file into terminal. Okay, it went well. Okay, oh, we definitely lost something there. Let me go back. Let me go back and get rid of that one. Okay, all right. Okay, so that's not what I'm supposed to do. Sorry, that's the wrong place. The network is not working. Okay, all right, so let's go up. Okay, let me check on something. Okay, dollar sign. Okay, let's go back. All right, so this is where it should be. Color prompt. Let me go up. I'm having issues with my network. My network is not as sharp as I would expect it to be. Okay, so to avoid this, let's just leave it that. Let's leave it at that. Okay, so let's set the cloud config um, set project. Okay, so let me copy the project ID from here and then paste that there and then hit that. Okay. There's definitely something wrong. Okay. All right. Let me close this window. Very good. Reconnect. Let's reconnect here. All right. So let's go ahead. We're in the directory we're supposed to be in, and then we are okay. That's not where we are. Um. All right. So this won't work. Let me go to a new window. This won't work. Okay. Oh no, I don't want to do that. I All right, so let me go to the new window, which is here. All right, okay, so let's do this. Okay, come here, close this window, and then come over here. Okay, so we're in the directory, so we change to our directory, and then we run the command gcloud source repos clone devops repo. I'll clone that repo. All right, so if you do the list, you see the directory there. It's there. So the next thing we're supposed to do is to change into that DevOps directory that we just cloned, and then we check our progress. Okay, that's done. Now we create a simple Python application. Okay, so we open the editor and place this in here. So let's look at open editor. Okay, let me make this bigger. Okay, so open the editor. All right, open a new window. Let's open that in a new window. Okay, sometimes you might have issues, trying to open this editor might not work. I've had labs that have been like that, and I simply had to return to cloud shell to get things done. So if we have the same error here, I'll simply take us back to cloud shell and then go there and get things done. Okay, so Okay, open folder. Okay, all right, let's see the instructions. Sorry, these are not the instructions. Um, okay, so uh, a drop down menu, click on menu file. Okay, there's definitely something wrong. There's definitely something wrong with the lab. Okay, so a new file should pop up here, but unfortunately, that file isn't coming up. Okay, so let's refresh it again. Let's see whether that will make a difference. All right, so click here and then new file. Let's click here. All right. Okay. New window. It's not happening. Let's go back to the cloud share. Reconnect. All right. Reconnect. Let's pull this one up. All right. All right. Let me clear the window. All right. So there's a problem with the editor. It's not working. It's not working as expected. It's not working as expected. So we go back to the shell. Okay, we'll report that after we finish the lab. So we need to create a new file in that DevOps repo directory we cloned from source repositories on Google Cloud. Okay, the name of the file is going to be, let me use the nano editor, it's going to be main.py. Okay, name.py, and then we just copy this. Okay, click here, come in here, and then paste that in here. So we're importing this module Flask. From Flask, we're importing these um, this from the Flask library. We're importing these modules Flask, render templates, and request, and then running a simple Flask application. Okay, so this application would just render return hello DevOps fans when you go to the root of the application. Okay, so we save that and then we get out of there and then we create another folder called templates. So to save when you're using another editor, do keyboard combination of Control X, Shift Y, and then enter. Okay, so that's been saved. And then the next thing we do is create a directory. So mkdir, the name of the directory is templates. Okay, inside that directory, we're going to create a layout file known as um, layout.html. So you could either change into that directory or stay just past the path to where you want to create this file. This file is not there, but I'm telling Nano, if you see at the terminal, I'm telling Nano that I want it to create a layout.html file in the templates folder, and it does that. And I'll simply come here and, of course, copy that and then paste that here. Okay, so this template file will be used to represent the views that will be seen by users of the app. So you pass this, this block you see here will be replaced by whatever thing whatever set of HTML file that you pass to it. So every other thing here will be used as a basic, as a template, and then you pass this from child template files to this parent um, template, and then that will be rendered. So same thing, Control X, Shift Y, and then hit your return key, and that is saved. We create another file called index.html. Do the same thing, nano templates, index dot html. Okay, and you paste that in here, and you do the same thing. Control X, Shift Y, hit the return key. All right. Now, we create another file called the requirements file. Here you place project requirements, and we will install the requirements from that file into this current project. So let's create that file. We get out, of course, we are not in the templates folder. If you want to know where you are, just type pwd, and it tells you where you are. So we are not in the templates folder. If you list the contents of your current location, you see we have a main.py file and a templates folder. You see the coloring on the templates folder is different, telling you that that's actually a folder. It's actually different. Okay, so depending on your system, here on Cloud Shell it is blue. On yours it might be brown or red, depending. So, but if I want to determine which of the current items in this location are folders, I pass the -f argument to my list command, and it puts a / at the end of each item that's a folder. Okay. All right. So let's create a new file called requirements. I spelled that wrong. Requirements dot txt. Okay, no, that's wrong. Txt. Let's be sure we got it right. Okay, so in our requirements file, we put this Flask, and we actually set the version of Flask we wanted to use, and then we repeat the same thing for saving that file. Okay, so the next thing we do, we add all the items that we just created, and then we set these values for our GitHub. Let me clear this. So GitHub config global user email. I'm going to use, I would use my let me use this email though. No. All right, so we set that one and be sure the email is correct. Okay, so the next thing we set, these things are required if you want to work with Git. Okay, user name, just put in Doyen. Okay, I put that in, and then we commit, and add a message, initial commit. All right, so that works. So we go down, and the next thing we do, we push to the master branch. Okay, and that's complete. That's done. Then we define a Docker build file. Of course, that is aptly named Docker file. That's the default name, and Docker would definitely look for such a file. So in the Cloud Shell editor, expand the GCP course DevOps folder with the DevOps repo folder selected. On the file menu, click new file and name the file this. So we're going to create another file called Docker file. Let's look at our cloud editor. Definitely this is not working properly and needs to be reported. Okay, so that file is called Docker file. Docker file. Okay, so at the start of the Docker file, we bring in the image we'll be using, Python 3.7. Okay, and then we set the work directory, directory where our applications will be kept, and commands we run against that directory. Then we copy all the contents of the current location to our working directory. That's what the periods are for. So I could have simply said this in this case, but I don't need to do that because it knows my working directory is /app on my image. And so or in my container when it's created. So what that simply says is that create a directory in the root of the container called app, and then copy all the contents from my current location, which that period represents, to app location. Okay, so that's that. Then we run these commands to install this um, library, and then we run this to install, okay, install requirements from the project requirements from the requirements file that we created earlier. Then we go on to export environmental values, set environmental values env, and this in this case, sorry, ports 80. All right, and then we set the command to run the container, which is Gonicon bind to the port we set. Okay. Uh, uh, bind, bind, or port, please, not bind. And then workers, just one worker, and then how many threads per worker? I got that. 8, and then main app. I keep bringing up that main app. All right. So basically that's how it is, and then Control X, Shift Y, hit enter. Okay, so let's see what the content of that file looks like. So we're sure we're in order. We cut that file. Cutting simply presents the contents of a set any file that you pass to that command, and it does that without you having to open the file to look through the file. So it's a fast and easy way to check what your files contain without actually opening the file in your terminal. Okay, so let's be sure everything is correct. Pip install Gonicorn, pip install requirements file, read from requirements file, then set the environmental variable of port to 80, and then execute this command binding to that port. So it will be listening on that port, and then we have just one worker and 8 threads. Okay, all right. So then the next thing we do, manage the Docker images with Cloud Build and container registry. That's the next thing we'll be doing. So let's echo this value. I will just copy it from here, paste it in here. Let's see that whether that has been set. Of course, yes, that's set by default to your project ID. Then the next thing we do is we build. Okay, so let me explain this command on the left. Okay, so we run gcloud build, and then we pass the submits subcommand to the build. You can just build without submitting. A build will simply just take that image Docker file, follow the instructions, and build an image using that Docker file. Then it will tag that image with this. It's necessary to tag images just like this. That's the format that Cloud Container Registry expects. Okay, so once we're done with that, we will now, once we're done with that, we will now, gcloud will also submit that image to container registry. So this part here will be replaced by the value of our project ID. So let me just copy that one and paste it here, and then run that. So if we did everything right, we should progress as expected. Okay, it takes a few moments to build this up, and then, okay. All right, so this will set this up. All right. All right, the next thing after that we will be doing is checking out a cloud build, we will go to the container registry and get that done. So give this a few seconds, a few minutes, and once it's done, it will push. So that's been done. Let's go to our dashboard. If you refresh this, this will change because we had pushed content to it. So those are the contents from um, our repository. I wonder why we don't have. Okay, those are the template files that we created earlier. Okay, so if you go here, if you go to, if you search, you do container registry, and there it is. So if you click here, okay, so let me close this. We have that there. So that's it. Okay. All right, so that's it, version 1. All right, so we are supposed to create an instance and uh, run that image on an instance. Okay, run a container using that instance, that image on a compute engine instance. So we're going to create this one. Let me hide this, and then our operations here. Click on this one and create instance. All right, so let's follow the instructions. We're going to pass the name of our image to that. So I didn't pick that one up. Fortunately, I didn't pick that one up. I should have picked that one up. Okay, let me open this. Let me do container. Let me type in container. Okay. Okay, or container registry. Let me open that in a new tab. Okay, so because we're going to need the name of that image. So we aren't told to create this particular instance in a specific region. Okay, so we're to go down to where we have container configurations with the container settings. So go over here and click here. Okay, click into there, click here. Okay, and we pick the name. Where's the name? Okay. Okay. Let's go back to the. Uh, all right. Let me see what again. Columns to display. The build. What does that one do? Okay, the build. Okay, so it doesn't really do anything. Let me view build. Okay, so execution details are coming here. No, I don't want to take that. Okay, that's what we're looking for. Let me copy that one, copy this, and then go back here and then place it here. Okay, remove this. Okay, that's not needed, but all of this is needed. DevOps image version 0.1. Okay, so we will do allow traffic, leave every other thing as is, then go down and then set allow HTTP traffic. All right, and then create this image. All right, so once the VM starts, create a browser tab and make a request to this new VM. You will now save your changes to the Git repository. All right. So let's go back to our terminal. Okay, it's been disconnected. Let's reconnect. That happens. Okay, if it does, let's set the project. Let's flip through the commands we did earlier and look for the one that sets the project ID configuration for our current settings. Once we see that one, we do that. If we don't, okay, if we don't have it, Okay, so we do GCP cloud config set projects. Okay, and then um, project ID. Where will we get that one from? Let me see if we have that lying around. We should. Okay, that's the project ID. Okay, can pick it from here. No, that's the email. No, that's the project ID. But let me just copy this and I'll get rid of the parts I don't need. Cloud Shell. Okay, so if I put this here, I would now get rid of all this. Okay, come over here. Sorry, come over here. Get rid of all this. Oh, definitely there's a problem. Let's expand this. All right. Okay, so I've already started making mistake. Let me repeat that. Let me do this. Let me make this bigger. Pick the email ID from here. Okay, put that there and then set that. All right, so it returns to the way we want it, and then I'll put this one here. Then of course that's let's see. Once it starts creating about make a request to the new. Okay, all right, so we never tested our application, but let's test it here. All right, so that's I feel let's make it. Okay, hello DevOps fans, it works. So now we push what we had done. So first of all, let's check. Let's do git status. Okay, not a git repository. So we're going to GCP DevOps and then that, and then do git status once more. All right, tells us we've actually changed something. We added a new file. So we do git add all. Okay, and then we do copy this to stage that, and then we hit that, and then we push as we did previously, and then it pushes it to our repository, and then we check our progress. All right, so that worked. So automate the builds with triggers. Okay, so we will set things up. We will set things up in such a way that once we push, a build will be triggered automatically. So let's go to cloud build and then click on triggers. We went there previously. We can close this one. It's not working for us. Okay, so let's go to cloud builds. Let's click back. Okay. There should be triggers. Okay, let's check our menu, go down. More products, go down, go down, go down. CI/CD pipelines, triggers, click on triggers. Now it's displaying in this fashion because I have my screen shared between two open windows, and so some of the menu items are hidden. You have to find them, bring them out. Okay, so said create a trigger. Um, where is the command to create a trigger? Okay. Okay, so down here, create a trigger. The name of the trigger is DevOps trigger. Okay. Select DevOps. Select your DevOps repo git repository. Name, region, description, tags, source. Select this one. Branch. Select this any. So this one. Okay. Any branch changes will be pushed. Will cause triggering of a build. Choose Docker for configuration, Docker. and then select uh, choose Docker for configuration and select the default image. Okay, so the image is there. Okay, um, it's in the roots of our repository, so we don't need to tell it where it is. It'll pick it up. You can also use a YAML file to play around with this. If you wanted to, you could actually do a lot push and pull stuff using more YAML files. Okay, but in this case, we're using a Docker file for this. So this would be the command that will be run. Okay, all right. So they said we should do this, accept the rest, and then create the trigger. Now to test the trigger, click run and then run the trigger. Okay, so click this and then master branch, click. So triggers can run against commit hash or against branches. So then with this, click on history. All right, let's see history. Let's click on history. Okay, click this. Okay, and it's building. Okay, okay, I'll kill this. Okay, so we're looking at the build logs. It's similar to what we did in terminal, no difference. All right, so after that, we will return to our terminal and make changes to our repository files. Okay, so that's completed successfully. Let's go back to the terminal. Terminal, I think, is to the right here. All right, disconnected again. Let's reconnect. Uh, okay, let's give a few. Okay, so that's connected. So let me clear the screen. Let me flip through my previous command using my arrow key and look for the command that has to do with clear. It's a bit fuzzy. Still not doing what I want. Obviously, the command to clear is not working. Network issues, I guess. Okay, let me do this. All right, let me do clear. All right, so that's cleared. I don't have, okay, still have so clear. Network issues. Okay, so let's open this particular file and change that text, the main.py file, py file, change that text to hello build trigger. So we'll do, let me do nano main.py. Okay. If you mistype the name of the file, then what nano will simply do is create a new file rather than open the old one. So be sure you get the name right. But if you do, simply don't save and exit. All right, exit from the editor. All right, let me. I'm having issues with network. Okay, so build trigger. No, that's not what we want. Okay, so everything is fine. You do Control X, Shift Y. Network issues, definitely. Network issues. Shift Y. Let me make this bigger. Okay, Shift Y, hit enter, and that goes. And then the next thing we do is to, all right, let me just hit this here. Next thing we do is to build and commit. We're already in that repository, so let's commit, add all the files and commit, and then leave, put a message. Okay, that's done. and then copy that one, put that there, then hit that. All right, once that happens, let's return to the build page and see what happens. All right, so they go to the dashboard. Is anything going on? Yes, the build is currently going on. Okay, okay, so go to the dashboard. Okay, go to history. Okay, so check this one out here. All right, so close this one. So that has been triggered because we did made that push. Okay, so build here. All right, so let's look at the build logs and see it's done and it's been successful. Okay, so we check. Okay, so we did that right. Test your build changes. When build completes, click on it to see its detail. Until underneath execution detail, copy the image link. Format should be this. Okay, with a hash. Go to your compute engine service as you did earlier. Create a new virtual machine to test this image. Okay, so we come execution details. Click on build. Where's that? Okay, let's see what we're supposed to do. Copy the image link. Okay, that's the image link. Copy that one and then come here and then oh, I don't want a schedule, I want a new instance. Click here and then no, that means we have to go out. No, we're in the right place. We are in the right place. Okay, create an instance. Okay, that's what we're supposed to do. Okay, so it says create a new instance. Okay, click deploy container. Go to the compute engine as you did earlier. Create a new virtual machine to test this image. Click deploy container and paste that in there and then allow HTTP traffic since we need port 80 to be open. Okay, so what that does when you allow HTTP traffic is that your VM will be tagged with the tag HTTP, and then a firewall rule will be created that targets any machine with that tag, allowing traffic on port 80 from the internet. So that's what that does for you. So if you wanted to do the same thing, then you will need to tag your machine and then create a firewall rule targeting that tag. Okay, so we've done that. I keep jumping, thinking we're in the same window. We are not. Okay, so give that a few minutes and then we're done. I don't know why this menu is coming up. Okay, let's close this. Okay, so unfortunate that the editor didn't work as expected. So this is the new VM. Let's click on it and see what happens. It didn't go. Okay, so definitely there's something. Let me go back. Let me go back to this image. Okay. Let's go back to that image and edit. I think I did something wrong. I did a paste notepad. Let me see what I actually pasted. That's wrong. This should have been left out. So let me copy that. Sorry. Oh, that's terrible. That's not right. That's not the right thing. Delete that. Copy that and then put that down. Edit. Okay. Okay, so let's go back down to where we have change this. See, the image name is wrong. Just get rid of that one and then Select that, save, and restart. Okay, so let's go back here. Okay, instances. Okay, so that's done. Let's see if we get the results we are looking for. All right, so it works. All right, so hello build trigger, and of course the other one, hello DevOps. All right, so that's that for that. Shut this ones down. Before leaving, we will leave. Let's talk to. We have a few minutes to go. I can close this completely because we don't need this. So we spent less than 30 minutes getting this done. So let's leave a message for them. But first of all, let's check to be sure. I think we did this. So I don't need to do this one anymore. Okay, that's done. Let's leave a message. So I'm going to leave a message here after I close the video telling them that there's an issue. So you simply click there. Okay. Okay. Chat box comes up. All right. Sorry, that's not what I want. I want to chat with them. So I just click this one. Chat support. Okay. So I'm going to leave a message telling them that the one of the steps in their labs doesn't work properly, and then hopefully they'll be able to fix that one. So anytime you run into any issues, please kindly do that so that they can fix it. Okay, so let me log out. Let me close the lab. Um, thank you for watching, and of course, please leave your comments and your likes. Truly appreciated if you do that. And of course, remember to click this button here. Okay. If you don't, then if you return to the lab next time with the same email and login credentials, it's likely that that lab may still be running and prevent you from running any other labs. All right. Bye bye.